Hey everyone, Plasmatism here. So I've been seeing a lot of thieves in both public and tournament games lately. I've also noticed a lot of people don't really know how to deal with the most popular thief builds or how to deal with stealth in general. That's why in this video I'm going to be focusing on thieves. Now, most thieves use either a pistol whip build or a backstab build. The pistol whip build focuses on disabling you while executing the whole skill combo for massive damage. It's actually quite similar to the 100 blades build. The stun on the skill only lasts 1 second, so most thieves use either haste or devourer's venom, which immobilizes you. Sometimes both are used though, and that one is a bit harder to get out of. Remember how you should always bring a break stun utility skill? Well, it's gonna come in handy once more. Use it to get out of the pistol whip stun, but remember, get out of there before the second one hits, if your break stun doesn't give you stability of course. But what to do when you use break stun but you're still immobilized after? Well, this one is a bit tricky. There are quite a few options though. Are you a warrior using a shield offhand? Use shield stance. If you're a guardian with a shield offhand, use shield of absorption. If you're a thief, shadow step. The point is move. Make him use up his haste. Remember, after using haste, thieves first of all lose all their endurance, meaning they can dodge, and their endurance bar doesn't fill back up for the duration of the skill. This means that the pesky thief won't be dodging much for the next couple of seconds. Use this to your advantage. Also note that after missing this combo, most thieves will be sitting ducks, unable to do much. They have used up 2 of their utility skills and most of the time all of their initiative. Great time to retaliate. The backstab build focuses heavily on lots of invisibility skills, then using skill number 1 on your dagger main hand weapon, which, when invisible, changes to backstab. The other most used skill in this build is usually Heartseeker. Backstab does heavy burst damage, especially when hit from behind. The absolutely most important thing to do when an enemy thief near you goes invisible is to keep spamming your auto attack everywhere, but more on that in a second. Heartseeker is an interesting thief skill. The way it works is, it does pretty standard damage when your opponent health is high, but starts to do more and more as it gets lower. At 33% health or less, the damage is very high, and the problem is it can be spammed quite a bit. Try to dodge, block, or in any way prevent it from hitting you. The 4 main ways of a thief becoming invisible are the following. Blinding Powder. Instantly makes the thief invisible for 3 seconds while blinding nearby enemies for 5. Also stealths nearby allies. Cloak and Dagger. Costs approximately half of your initiative bar to use and has a very small range. It does some damage, applies vulnerability and stealths you for 3 seconds. Steal. Can be traded to make thieves invisible for 2 seconds on usage. Keep in mind, there is a minor trait that increases all stealth skills for 1 second, and quite a few thieves use this. Shadow Refuge. A big AoE stealth and regen lasting 12 seconds in total. Now, like I've said earlier, it's important you don't become passive once a thief goes invisible. Keep spamming that auto attack or try to avoid being hit with backstab. More often than not, your auto attack will hit the thief for heavy damage. This becomes even more important when Shadow Refuge is used, since the invisibility is only effective inside the circle. If people step out of it, they will instantly be revealed. The only exception to this is if players have been standing inside the refuge for 8 seconds already, they can leave and still be invisible for an additional 4 seconds. In other words, when a thief uses this skill to make himself invisible, it really pays off to just spam your auto attack inside the circle. However, if not getting backstabbed is your priority, my advice would be to stay away from the Shadow Refuge circle. After getting you to about half HP with backstabs, you will most likely start receiving Heartseeker spam. Again, try to avoid this, since it does heavy damage. An additional threat when facing backstab builds is the Assassin Signet. Its passive effect gives you a 90 power increase, and using it gives you 150% damage on your next attack. Coupling this with the high burst damage of a critical backstab can be pretty big. It's pretty obvious when a thief is using the Assassin Signet though. All you need to do is look at the buff effects he has on him. Thieves will usually use this on their first backstab attempt, since the skill has a relatively short cooldown, so more often than not it's crucial to dodge the first backstab. Plus side here is even if the attack misses, the Signet gets used up. Another skill that does quite a bit of damage and is sometimes used is Unload, the dual pistol wielding skill. What to do here is pretty self-explanatory though. Either dodge when the skill is being used or use your projectile countering skill. A few other thief skills consist of Headshot, offhand pistol weapon skill that dazes your target for 1/4 of a second, mostly used against trying to revive or down a player. Black Powder, using this skill makes a relatively small circle around the thief pulse with blinding smoke. If you want to hit anything, I suggest staying out of it. Keep in mind this costs a lot of initiative, so it cannot be used too often. Scorpion Wire, a big ranged projectile pulls players towards the thief and does damage. Knocks down for approximately 1.5 seconds. It's quite easy to dodge. Shadow Step, a very important utility skill that more and more thieves have been using. The skill itself consists of 2 stages. First, you use the skill to instantly teleport for 1200 range in any direction while breaking stun. The second stage teleports back to the starting position, breaking stun again and removing up to 3 conditions. Just keep in mind that a good thief using Shadow Step basically has 2 stun breaks and condition removal. So, I've saved the possibly most annoying part for last, Thief Down skills. The 2 important skills here are Shadow Escape and Smoke Bomb. The first thing to keep in mind is, as with any profession, the third skill is never available as soon as you're downed. So if you start finishing the thief before 6 seconds after he's been downed, you will always have to use Shadow Escape. Keep in mind that even though you might not see him at first, he will always be visible. He just teleported away. Try looking for him. The second skill that becomes available after approximately 8 seconds is Smoke Bomb. Keep in mind he can't move while using this, so if that happens after your second finish attempt, just keep attacking him where he was before disappearing. However, if you manage to do everything fast, he will never be able to go invisible at all, which is the most effective thing to do versus a downed thief. Another option is to just finish him with normal attacks, which works as well if he's alone. Remember to leave feedback in the comment section and subscribe for more Guild Wars 2 videos. See you next time.